You ever get that feeling when the house gets too quiet? Like, unsettlingly quiet? That's how it started for me. It was a Thursday night. Nothing special. Just one of those evenings when I wanted to disconnect. I turned off my phone, made a cup of tea, and settled in with a book on my couch. The kind of quiet that feels comforting, you know. But then I noticed something odd. Not loud, not obvious, just a soft thud. I paused, listening. Nothing. I brushed it off as the house settling. Old pipes, maybe. Except my house isn't that old. Barely 5 years. And besides, I don't have an upstairs. My house is a one-story home. About 10 minutes later, I heard it again. A slow, deliberate thump. Directly above me. I froze, staring at the ceiling. My mind immediately started racing for explanations. Maybe it was an animal on the roof. A raccoon. A cat. But it didn't sound like that. The footsteps weren't scattered or frantic. They were paced. Human. Step. Pause. Step. Right above the living room. Now I was unsettled. I turned off the TV and stood up, trying to listen closely. My entire house was dead silent, but that sound, those slow, dragging steps, kept moving. Across the ceiling, toward the hallway, right above my bedroom. My chest tightened. I grabbed my phone and turned the camera on, slowly walking outside to look at the roof. I circled the house. No ladder, no branches, no signs of anyone climbing up. The roof was completely empty, but the footsteps continued, inside. At this point, fear kicked in. I called the non-emergency police line and told them I thought someone might be in my attic, though I knew how insane that sounded, especially since my house technically doesn't have an attic space. Just insulation, beams, and a crawl area barely a foot high. They said they'd send someone over. Estimated arrival time, 20 minutes. I wasn't waiting. I grabbed a flashlight and a broomstick and pulled down the ceiling panel in the hallway, the one that opens to the crawl space. Dust fell. My arms trembled as I poked the broom up through the opening. Nothing. Then I climbed the step stool and peeked in. There was no one there. Just pink insulation, wooden planks, and darkness. I lowered the panel and just stood there in silence. The steps had stopped. The police arrived and did a sweep. They were polite, but you could tell they thought I was just hearing things. They checked every room, every closet, even the crawl space. Nothing. They left, and I tried to convince myself it was stress, sleep deprivation, anything, until 3:40 a.m. That's when I woke up to a loud bang, like something fell, and then footsteps, again, but this time inside the house. I grabbed my phone and turned on the camera app, hands shaking. The sound was coming from the hallway. I opened the door. Nothing. But when I looked at the camera feed from earlier, I stopped breathing. The video I had filmed when I first checked the ceiling. There was something in it I hadn't noticed. A face in the crawl space, just behind me, staring. The next morning, I didn't pack a bag and run. I didn't sell the house. I did what most people would do. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was a trick of the light. Maybe the insulation reflected something. Maybe I was tired. That's what I told myself, again and again. But then things got worse. It wasn't just footsteps anymore. It was whispers, a low voice, repeating my name from the walls. And the worst part, it only happens when I'm alone, when everything's silent, when I'm lying in bed, trying to sleep. I had someone come inspect the crawl space again. This time, the technician came out pale. He didn't say much, just told me quietly, "You should put a camera up there, but don't watch it live." That night, I did exactly that. I set a motion-triggered camera facing the crawl space, and just before 3 a.m., it caught something. Not just movement, a hand, pale, long fingers, reaching out through the insulation and pulling back in. I've shown the footage to 2 friends. One refuses to talk about it. The other keeps telling me to move. But I haven't. Not because I'm not scared. I am. But because deep down, I feel like if I leave, whatever it is might follow me. And at least here, I know where it lives.